She lost, braced for death, when a human arrow hissed past her ear and dropped the champion cold. The arena was silent, except for the thud of her knees hitting the stone. Yaral of the Ashblade clan had fought with everything she had. Her 4 arms hung limp, her breathing ragged. Blood trickled from her brow, matting her silver hair. Her opponent, champion of the Ulka Dominion, stood tall above her, axe raised high for the final blow. She had lost. She braced herself. Her people, watching from the stands, turned their heads away. Losing meant dishonor. It meant death. Yaral closed her eyes. And then, hissed, a sound like the slicing of air. So fast, so sharp it split the silence. Something whizzed past her ear. Thunk. The axe never fell. Instead, the Ulka champion let out a strangled gasp and crumpled backwards, an arrow buried deep between his eyes. Yaral opened her eyes, stunned. Her heart thundered. He was dead. Just like that. Gasps filled the arena. Then shouts. Then chaos. And high above, near the edge of the stands, standing casually with a bow still raised, was a human. Tall, calm, dressed in ragged leather armor, face half-shadowed. He didn't lower his bow, just watched. Someone screamed, "Assassin!" But Yaral knew better. This wasn't a murder. This was a rescue. Hours later, after she had been dragged out of the arena by guards and locked in a cold stone cell, Yaral stared at the floor in silence. The Ulka were furious. Their champion had been killed mid-victory. They would demand a reckoning. She should be dead. She had accepted that. And yet she was alive. Because of a human. Later that night, the cell door creaked open. 2 guards entered. Behind them, the same human. She stared, her crimson eyes narrowing. "You." He gave a small nod. "Me." The guard shoved her roughly to her feet and left, locking the door behind them. Yaral staggered but stayed upright, her body aching. The human stepped closer, now fully in view. He wasn't tall by her people's standards, but something about him made the small stone cell feel smaller. His bow was gone, but she could see the string marks on his fingertips. "Why?" she asked, her voice rough. "You should not have interfered." "You were going to die," he replied simply. "That was my duty. I lost." "You didn't deserve to die for losing." She clenched her jaw. "You've interfered in something you don't understand." He shrugged. "Maybe, but I understand this. The one with the axe was going to kill you, and I wasn't going to let that happen." Her expression shifted slightly. "You are human. You do not know me." "I do now. Name's Corin." She didn't reply. He waited a moment, then said, "I saw you fight. You lasted longer than anyone else against him. You fought with honor." She said nothing. "I know something about being surrounded by people who don't care if you live or die." At that, her gaze flicked to his. "I was part of the observer unit, supposed to just watch the tournament. But the way they cheered when he crushed his last opponent, the way they laughed when you bled." He shook his head. "I knew I had to do something." Yaral looked down at her hands. "You may have doomed yourself. Interference is forbidden. The Ulka will demand your head." Corin gave a small smirk. "They'll try." She blinked at him. "You're either brave or foolish. Probably both." Silence lingered. Then she said, "My name is Yaral." A pause. Then, "Thank you for saving me." 2 days passed. Whispers spread through the city. The Ulka were enraged, but no punishment came. The human delegation argued that the interference had been instinctive, emotional, not political. Meanwhile, Yaral was released quietly into exile. Shameful, dishonorable, alive. She was being escorted to the outer gates of the city when she saw him again. Corin stood by a battered speeder bike, checking the engine. "You're following me?" she asked. "Nope. I'm escorting you. I don't need. Your right arm is still injured. Your people left you with nothing. No food, no weapon. They expected you to die quietly." Yaral scowled. "And you think I need help?" He met her gaze evenly. "I think everyone needs someone. At least once." She didn't speak, but after a long moment, she climbed onto the back of the speeder. The desert stretched endlessly ahead. The wind stung their faces, but neither of them cared. For days, they rode together. She shared how she had trained since childhood to fight in the arena, how she'd been praised until she failed, how everything she was had been tied to victory. And he told her about his world, about forests, about a little sister who waited for him, about how, even in peace, humans still found ways to hurt one another. By the time they reached the cliffs beyond the Deadlands, something had changed, not just between them, but within them. One night, beside a quiet fire, Corin asked softly, "Do you still think you deserve to die?" Yaral looked up at the stars, then shook her head. "No, you were brave." She turned to him. "So were you? One arrow, one shot. You saved me. I'd do it again." "You had no reason to care." "I did," he said. "I still do." Her expression softened. Then, unexpectedly, she reached forward and brushed a strand of his hair from his face. "I never believed I'd find honor in exile," she whispered. "But now, I think I found something better." Corin smiled. "So have I.